This video will cover popular 11v11 formations. Of course, you can always look others up, but these are some of the most popular out there. So this formation is a 4-3, so four backs, three midfielders, three forwards. And what you have here is you have your left back, left center back, right back, defensive mid, left center mid, right center mid, left forward, right forward, striker or center forward. And the goal here, of course, is to create triangles and diamonds of passing. So you can see, all over this field, you'll find there are triangles to be had and to connect your passes through. So they're everywhere. See it happening as we go. And you'll see that we can make those connections, and you can go up here and go here. So we're just trying to make connections. All right, that's what a formation is. It's all about making those connections to make sure that we get the passes we need in that space, and we have good field coverage to make those passes work. The benefit to this formation is that your forwards are wide, so you can use width. If you got a person who can center the ball from out wide, you have good width, or beat a player and then drive towards baseline. So that is the benefit. The way this formation is played is that these two center mids in particular have to way overshift to the ball. So if the ball's over here, they overshift so that they can stay connected and work with the forwards. So this person shifts in, this person shifts in, and then I even like to bring this forward into the space with defensive mid coming in behind, so that we can stay connected and on a compact and stay on the side of a field but still have options. So if the person chooses to play this ball into space to switch the field, um, this player can obviously run into that space and still connect, and we are right into our attack, right? Even if we don't choose to use maybe the shorter, easier passes because they're defended here and here, or to go back here and then reset up. So that is one of the key components, is that the forwards really have to work their butts off, even if they are the right forward. Come in, stay connected. The passes become way easier, so we can get that triangle shape into play as we go. So the other side of this too is we go into the full-on attack. Let's say the ball's up high, and this is just an idea space here. Um, these midfielders will stop it near the top of the box to pick the ball up for back passes options. Number five will try to shadow your defensive mid. Excuse me, will try to shadow where the ball is, and then in an ideal situation, your right and your left back will push into this space if possible um, to create a zone to keep the ball on the offense side, to create as much chances as possible. Now, some teams will leave. I'm choosing twos, but some teams will leave three players high. If that happens, then these players have to come back to help out. Otherwise, depending on where the ball is, otherwise you'll have unmarked players, and we want to be in a situation where we can double team every player, except for in the long switch. So even then we could potentially double team, but we need to be in a position to help. So that is the one exception, if they leave three high. If the team loses two high or one high, then you can really push those forwards into that space. So that is one option that you can play. If you're winning a game, let's say it's a one goal game and 10 minutes left and you just want to hold on to that lead, one of the quick changes you can make is to bring one of these midfielders back as a second defensive mid to create even more coverage on the backside, and then move your other midfielder into a center attacking mid role. So we just changed our midfield into a reverse triangle of what we had. It means that these players really have to work their butts off, the right and left forwards, to come back to help in order to connect everything together, because there is no width now at this point. And so these players really need to come back and help. But that, so that is the key to making that work, but a very common adjustment. Another formation is the 4-4-2. The way the 4-4-2 usually works is something with a variation of, if you have four backs and you have four midfielders and two forwards. The idea is that depending on where the ball is moving, different people get the attack. So the ball is, let's say, here. This player on this side may try to run this wing and look for a long pass. You get to three forwards, or you might even get to four out of that space, depending on the passing ability of these players. Um, or if the ball's here, this player's making a hard run trying to get ahead as they come up the field. So you basically vary your attack, usually using your width, the wing players here, so your left and right mids, through that space to try to create opportunity. Now, you can also sometimes run this as a diamond, like this. So you have a defensive mid now. You'll have a defensive mid back here who is covering with them, and then you have your wide players here, and you have a center attacking mid then with the two forwards. Now the key for the forwards is depending on where the ball is. If the ball's here, they really have to work themselves into a position to create the width, perhaps like this, in order to create that diamond type shape or triangle type shape to get into the attack better. So they have to, because there's only two of them on the entire front line trying to run that whole front line. So that's the 4-4-2, and you can play it either sort of like flat or with a diamond is the most two common places. We'll do one more here. This last formation is a 3-5-2, and so the five is the five midfielders here. So you have three backs, left back, center back, right back, two defensive midfielders, left mid, right mid, or wingers because they're going to run, a center attacking mid, and then you have your left and right forwards essentially, but they're pretty central. Uh, these players here are the ones that are going to have to really hustle all the way back defensively, all the way up to make this formation work and to get numbers into the offensive half. So if you're up here with the ball, for example, with your center attacking mid, these players have to get all their way up into this zone to provide the coverage that you're looking for. Um, the nice thing about this is that if you have a lot of midfielders who can play this, you can get a lot of people up in the offensive half and still have really good field width coverage out of this space. But it does isolate players back here because there's not four back here, there's only three. So teams who choose to leave three, these defensive mids have to be mindful of where the ball is and where they need to be cutting off passing lanes to these players who might want to get into the attack. So that is the key. And the transition game is really important because we have to get people back. So as this ball transitions back into the defensive half, players have to get back. These players have to come down and help out. And then really, these two players here have to really get into play to kind of break things up as well. So if you're very athletic, you may find it. You'll still need these two forwards to move left and right and overshift towards where the ball is so that they can all stay connected in their connections and passes. But if you got athleticism, it's a pretty fun formation because it creates lots of opportunities and movements and can really put pressure on the other team. So I was able to run this with some players for a season, and we did pretty well. Then we had some turnover in players, and it wasn't effective, and I had to move to a different formation. But when you have the right players, it's a really fun, um, very opportunistic. It gives you tons of width and coverage, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and you can really just pin people in. So there's some varieties of options for you that you may want to consider.